Stand by for the opening night of the National Television Service.
Long time ago in a galaxy
in a galaxy far, far away.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Long pause.
It is a period of civil war.
Rebel spaceships striking from a hidden base.
Rebel spaceships
have won
striking from a
their
hidden
first
base
victory against the evil Galactic Empire.
Evil Galactic Empire.
Long
I
pause.
think that's enough.
Oh, so during the
battle,
Megan. During the battle, Rebel spies managed to steal secret plans to the Empire's ultimate weapon, the Death Star, an armored space station with enough power to destroy the entire
An armored
planet.
space station with enough power to destroy an entire planet.
I got real defensive of this idea. Pursued by the Empire's sinister agents, Princess Leia races home aboard her starship, custodian of the stolen plans that can save her people and restore freedom to the galaxy.
And restore freedom to the galaxy.
Dot.
All right, now let's reflect as a group. Scott.
We should do another one.
Okay, Scott's still down. Savannah.
We should do all
That
of
was
them.
a mess.
That was a mess. We already know how Megan feels.
I just would like to say that one of Zach's
this
and
what she's
I's
like while you're
first
fucking?
date was at
You
the
get- you get-
Tulip Festival.
You gotta let people. Wait, say it again.
One of our first dates was at the Tulip Festival.
Okay,
So
what are you
fuck
gonna name like the first 30 things that we did?
Fuck
Yeah, no, Megan, that's actually great. One of our first dates was at a thing I didn't want to do that I did because I care about you. That if anything, that's a green flag. You were like, hey, I really want to go to the Tulip Festival. I'm like, you know what? Let's go to the Tulip Festival. And we had a great time because I like
your
you.
Clear Choice dental
Right?
implants makes every day.
Oh God, what were you doing?
I can mute it. Hey, I can mute it on my side.
You can't do that. That's actually a good idea, Megan. Try unmuting him. Let's try trusting Scott. Let's make him get better at his job. I mean that with love. Cool.
So then wouldn't you say you enjoyed the Tulip Festival?
No, I enjoyed hanging out with Megan.
I'm not even sure.
Interesting. I mean,
Megan, remember when we were...
actually, Tulip Festival is a disgusting euphemism. Never mind.
That was dumb, but it made me giggle.
That wasn't a giggle, man. Don't count that as a
That
giggle.
was like an
I
edit
That was like
Nettie.
a slug came out of your mouth and it was giggling.
Shout out to Ron Weasley.
Shout out to Ron Weasley.
Megan, yeah. Did you read Harry Potter?
Eat slugs, Malfoy. Yeah, right.
Oh, good. I'm currently. I think we already went over this, but
We did a little. You said you're reading before bed.
yeah, Harry Potter. But remember on Saturday when we were trying to figure out what to go and do, and you said that you were less interested in like the thing we did, and you just wanted to hang out with me.
The thing
it's
that they
like
did
that.
was sex.
No, we went to a shitty arcade actually. It was we went to like a vintage arcade and like they did not maintain this
And
equipment
dude,
at all.
the video games were awful. They didn't have any Fortnite. Oh my god, it fucking sucked.
I learned that I'm not into like you hear about old retro arcades with like pinball machines and you kind of get like caught up in the romance of the idea of like an 80s arcade. I really dislike pinball machines. I suck at them.
Yeah, I'm not very good. I've been
I
to
actually like pinball.
I've been to 8-bit arcade before. Have you been to that one?
Is that in Seattle?
I think it's in Renton.
No,
I got like $20 worth of quarters, and I maybe spent like $7 and got out of there.
just not having fun.
Just not having it.
Yeah. I don't understand the hype of it. It's not arcades in general aren't the greatest, but retro arcades especially, I don't get it. I don't think
I
it's
did
fun.
play Area 51 though. That's a shout out to Area 51 and whoever created that game. That's a monumental game right there.
I'm sure they're stoked for your endorsement.
You have to go to the Area 51 in Vegas. Or no, it's Area
that's what you have to do.
15.
Area 15. Yeah, I totally agree. You
Area
have to go to
15.
Omega Mart in Vegas. You should add that to your itinerary.
Okay.
Yeah,
Meow Wolf?
Meow Wolf is the installation, or is the name of like the company, the artists who do it, and then the setup is called Omega Mart. and it's very fun. It's a little. I mean, it's just like any other tourist activity, right? It costs the same as the Space Needles. You know, you go there, it's like $40 fucking entry and then expensive ass gift shop, but it's pretty fun.
Cool.
I don't know what the fuck you guys talking about.
Great suggestion. We're talking about, I'm going on a bachelor party in July, end of July, for a buddy of mine. And we're just talking about fun things that we could do that aren't like drinking in strip clubs.
Have you thought about church?
Have you
Just saying.
considered cheating on your spouse?
No.
Oh. It's like the number 2 activity in Vegas, Scott. It's like that and then renting a sports car.
No, it's that and then making a spouse forever.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, no, like legit. That's actually a really interesting thought. Like the two most, like either you go to Las Vegas and you just fucking ruin your marriage, or you get into one like immediately. It's kind of interesting. You got those little chapels you get married in.
I had a buddy that got married in Vegas.
In one of the little chapels.
Yeah.
Is still married?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, they're still
Was
married.
that the plan though? Was like just to do that to save money?
Yeah.
Okay.
They just eloped out there. Didn't really tell anybody and just went out.
I don't like the idea of eloping. I mean, I don't.
You don't?
I don't. I don't
It
dislike
sounds
the
cheap.
idea for
That
others.
sounds really cheap.
Right?
I just like parties. You know me. I like events. I like parties. Excuse to throw a big party where your friends have to go dress up however you say. Sounds fun.
You know, I was actually thinking, here's a kind of a sad thought. I'm kind of recognizing in myself that I don't really like doing things that much. I like doing things. I'm a very goal-oriented person, so if I do something, I want there to be like a mission or a goal or like a thing I'm trying to do or achieve. I don't really like just like hanging out at a party. That sounds dumb because like a lot of people say they don't like parties. I don't even like just like sitting at the beach and just enjoying the beach. I don't. It doesn't do a lot for me. If we were like, hey, let's dig a deep fucking hole at the beach, then I'm in. Because it's like a task.
I know,
Like, let's build a big sandcastle.
Bro,
I'm down, dude.
As king of the beach hole squad, you tried to get us all to dig a huge
did
hole.
try to
at
get
the
you to
beach.
dig a large hole.
I thought you were saying that.
I forgot about that.
You tried to all get us to dig a 25 diameter hole that was 6 foot deep at the beach at Ocean Shores.
Yeah, we tried doing the math. I thought we could do it, dude.
Dude,
We
that's
did
a
the math.
big
It's a
hole.
lot of sand.
Yeah, I
It's a lot of
told him,
sand.
I was like, a lot of sand. He's like, Julian, you're just being like a fat ass lazy person. Of course,
That
you
too.
think it's a lot of sand. And
this is-
as it turns out that even for a very svelte, motivated person, it's still a lot of sand.
How far did you guys get?
We
They didn't
get-
even show up on time. They weren't even there. Yeah, but then we found like a pre-dug hole, and I would like send them photos like, you guys fucked up. You're
straight
missing
up.
out.
No, that was not. This was a
Took
different
somebody
event.
else's work.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah,
Are you being
having a blast.
That happened. I took a photo and was like, look at the hole we dug, you
That's
guys.
for the party in Ocean Shores, though.
Yeah, and we found a hole, and we took a photo in the hole and sent it to you guys and said, look at the
Just
hole that
because
we
Jesse
dug.
and I were late.
Okay.
'Cause,
Well,
I mean, Jesse and
some
I-
people were late, and it was also kind of raining, so some people didn't want to go and do it. So.
It was I remember that it was raining. I remember that Jesse and I were like there in the latter half, maybe. I don't. God, what a weird fucking time. But
The COVID party.
the COVID. Woo.
So I was in classes last week.
You could just say that it was in 2022, man. Like no one would call you on it, you know.
I don't care. That's a you problem. You were there, Julian.
I wasn't.
You'll have to live with that for the rest of your life. You killed someone's grandma.
I didn't.
But I was in class last week, and it's just a funny little story I thought you guys could make fun of me for. I was walking up to a door, and I was looking down at my phone, and I saw like a guy in my peripheral was going up to the door. And like, you know, when you're going up to a door, like you let someone take the lead and they open the door, and you like either open the door for yourself or they hold it open for you. You just kind of let nature take course. I was walking up, I was looking down at my phone. I felt like he was a bit ahead of me, so I slowed down and stopped to let him get to the door first, and he stopped. And after a moment of he stopped too, I looked up, and the motherfucker had one arm. I looked at him and just burst out laughing. And he started mocking me too. I was like, you're going to let the guy with the one arm get to the door? And I was like, dog, I'm so sorry. When I say one arm, he had like a broken arm and like a cast. It wasn't like he only had one arm, but nonetheless,
that's still pretty funny.
I paused.
It's actually much funnier if you say okay, no, it's not funnier if you say broken arm. It's different if you say broken arm. Yeah.
Okay.
One arm implies that he like lost it in the war or something like that.
He lost.
Some tragic event that you're fucking making fun of.
He lost it. He lost it on the farm. But no,
Yeah.
I did that to a disabled guy, and I giggled. He giggled too.
Did you then open the door? Or
No. He realized that I realized I fucked up, and he went for the door immediately. I think he was very excited about getting to the door at that point.
Yeah.
And then he opened. Oh, maybe he didn't. He somehow got in front of me. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's kind of off topic, but yeah, he did open the door for me.
Nice.
Dude, this is really fucking me up not having everything inside this document. I keep having to scroll through like my work performed on different pieces of equipment, and then like I have to like remember what the fuck I was talking about. We saw someone had a temporary plate taped to like the back of it. Like, you know how you get those paper printout things and like you're supposed to hang it in your window? Someone like taped it on the trunk of their car, like on the outside. They just had their temp thing like taped. I have Domino's guy written down. I don't know what that means. Oh, we're in Seattle.
That's communication for you right there, folks.
We were in Seattle, and there's a Domino's delivery guy on a bicycle, and he passed another, like he went up to an intersection, and there's another Domino's delivery guy on the other side also stopped at the light, and then they both like stopped for a second and then kept going and didn't acknowledge each other. And I was like, you guys both have like incredibly niche jobs. You're not even going to like acknowledge each other's presence. Like, you're both Domino's bicycle delivery men. You don't just give them like a like you ever see like when two like Mazda Miatas see each other, they like flash their little lights up. Two guys in full Domino attire riding bicycles, just fucking thousand yard stare.
They both get it, man. Like, I want to get to my destination as well, uninterrupted.
I guess I like talking to my coworkers.
One was a girl.
One was a girl. Does that change anything?
I thought maybe she didn't like him or something because she like pulled out her phone and it looked like to me that she was not acknowledging him on purpose. But,
Like he was gonna be like, "Hey,
that's a good point.
both Domino's delivery drivers, crazy, right? We should fuck sometime. That'd be wild."
Their crazy coworker exes. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever like messed with a coworker?
Never. Have you, Scott? I feel like you have.
The story's coming from somewhere.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. I don't think I have messed with a coworker.
Anytime it gets slow and uncomfortable. Hey, Scott, what was jail like? Not in the silence.
It's kind of like fucking your coworker.
Dangerous?
I mean, it can be if you're a knucklehead, for sure.
Or a chucklehead.
Okay, another weird thing this is gonna just be like weird observations I had all week. This is fine. Megan didn't want me to talk about
I'm
this
gonna
one.
queue up another observation just in case.
So we have one of those like, no? Okay, fine. I won't do it.
It's fine.
No, I don't like that sigh. That sigh.
It's just gross, Zach.
Yeah, but it's funny.
Gross.
What's gross? It didn't actually happen.
5. You gotta talk about your doo-doos.
Okay, okay, fine. No, now I have to. Okay, we have a catch thing inside the shower. Not going the way you think it's going.
Whoa.
Not going the way you think it's going. No, she fucked me on this one. She fucked me. That catches hair, right? And
Catches doo-doos?
Megan, unbeknownst to me, had taken the hair and put it in the toilet. So I went and took a shit, and then I got up and I looked down at the bowl and just saw a rod of hair. And for like 30 seconds, I was just like, "What did I eat? Like, am I an owl that just shits pellets now? Like, I'm looking at this glob of hair that I just like." Reamed the bowl with. I'm just like, what the fuck am I looking at? And then it finally clicked, and I was like, oh, thank God. Like, I was like, do I have to like call a doctor? Do I have to like speak with a scientist? Like,
That's funny.
That's good.
yeah,
No, objectively, yes. I think like you're a cat,
a cat,
like
oh.
a reverse hairball.
Yeah, you could go that way. I thought owl pellet. When
I like
saw it.
owl pellet. I mean, I think
although
there's
they
a lot
vomit
of animal
pellets.
comparisons there. Yeah, it's.
I guess cats vomit hair too. They don't really shit hair unless they do shit hairs.
Well, you could make it really gross by like like you gotta shave because I'm eating pussy all the time. No, okay.
You're mentioning sex a lot tonight. Is there
Me?
a little trouble in paradise or something?
Me? No, I'm just a goofy little guy. Come on, me.
Somebody need to get a little bit.
Come on. I'm out there. I fuck, right? Come on, you guys.
I really need to take more detailed notes. I have written down we are going to have to do that like 5 more times, period, Jesus Christ.
You have to write down, to me,
What the fuck
you
does
have
that
to
mean?
write down the whole objective setup and the words that you said that made it special.
I already told you that one, Julian.
What?
It was a joke idea. I'm very comfortable with silence. This is healthy for us. We have to sit here and be uncomfortable.
I'm just thinking about what Savannah said, because how do you respond?
Just say ha ha ha.
That's what I was thinking initially.
Oh.
With Librella,
Oh, wait,
a
that would've
once-monthly
been-
injection given by your...
What's wrong with Scott?
No, that would.
Because you
I get 3 strikes.
can't
That's strike 2.
accurately describe the level of sex that you're currently having, but you also can't just like defensively say like, yeah, I am.
What are the
You know?
different levels of sex?
What I mean, like.
Well, he's saying like you can't
Well, when I say,
describe.
like-
I'm curious of what the different levels
I
of
mean,
sex
like
are.
you can't go night by night as to like how you were feeling. It's not to say you can't, but I'm not going to right now. I'm not going to go night by night as to. I feel like Zach was right. You say ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha.
Oh, that got me. Oh man.
I have a question for you, unless you have another bit.
No, thank God.
Which
I mean,
is
I have something.
as
but sure.
so sometimes you get a lot of mean comments making things on YouTube,
My own from you.
and I was
was so happy.
That's because
Yeah, got your ass.
because you're a bitch.
No, it's true. Did you
But-
see what he commented on one of our TikToks? Scott, you and I, it was mostly me, but you were there. Our TikTok,
It's mostly me.
it got like one of the schizophrenia TikTok did pretty good.
Really?
And then Julian commented, "Whoa, this must be a show for deep thinkers." And then I replied, "It is when you're not there." And that made me feel good about myself. Anyways, Julian, back to mean comments that other people make and we definitely don't make. I've never commented anything sassy on any of your TikToks.
I know. I want you to. I want you to
No,
be my buddy.
nope,
But instead,
nope.
instead of being my friend, you're ignoring me, running parallel to me, which I actually think is worse. But what I was gonna say is, as a comedian, I like
sassy
bullying you
little
online.
comments.
I like making make a sassy little comment. That's why I'm making sassy little comments to show we're buds. To show we're
no one
buds.
knows that but us. No, everyone else thinks it's just someone going at me on the internet. No one knows who you are. No one knows who I am. It's just, hey, you fucking blow, dude. And then everyone's like, yeah, he does.
Has
No
anyone
one's like,
ever
oh, that's his
liked
good
my
friend.
comment? No one's ever been like. I don't think it's ever led to a ripple effect. I think I'm just
I'm
poking
mostly
ya.
talking shit, but
But
the point is there. Like if you
regardless.
got me good, everyone would be like, oh, that stranger totally fucked up that other stranger.
And by everybody, he means Poo Crafter.
Yeah, but he means Poo Crafters, which no, Poo Crafters also subscribe to me. So he wouldn't think that. But what I was gonna say is,
Crafter would know.
people make a lot of mean comments online,
Yeah.
and I feel as though it's different being like a comedian or it's like a someone who's adjacent.
Oh,
is that?
fuck. That's the heater. Hold on, keep talking.
Thought it was the curtain just goes up in smoke behind me as I was talking. No, but I feel as though like for other professions, right? So if you're like a guitarist and you make like you're an original riff and post it online and someone comments like, "Oh, that was really shitty." You can't tell how much they know about guitar from their mean comment. They could just be really good at stringing mean words together. I feel like as a comedian, you can roughly tell how funny someone is based on how they choose to shit talk you. Roughly. So when I find it's easy to disregard shit talk comments that are just negative and bad because I can very easily rationalize to myself, oh, this person doesn't know a lot about jokes. This person isn't a natural comedian. Like when this person tries to make a room laugh, they are less successful than me and they wish that was different. And it gives me a lot of confidence in making things online that are funny. And I was wondering if you find that to be the case too. Like it's harder for someone to shit talk you as a comedian. Why are you smirking? So I feel like nothing that I comment on your video could possibly be meaner or sassier than when I'm in the middle of my sentence.
I just grin. I was gonna give you props. Actually, I was just gonna say, I don't get. You get way more comments than me. I don't really get any hate comments. If I'm being real, people, even if one of my videos like that one spikes, I don't really get a lot of comments. So
I feel like
I don't really get hate at all. Everything's just fucking numb. It's just me screaming into the void.
Maybe that's true. Maybe. Well, I don't know. Well,
you do a lot more like opinion direct, like this is X, Y, and Z stuff, whereas I just do clips of the show.
It makes it easier for people to say, I love this,
you're
or I
wrong.
hate this.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but like
you evoke an emotion.
It is also, yeah, it's so I guess it makes it easy for me to, oh, you don't actually think this is like creatively flawed. You just disagree with me. Yeah. And yeah. What?
Sure, I was just saying you're talking like this. Like, it'd be really easy to just move your microphone in front of yourself. However, it's comfortable for you, but
no, I got you.
Good microphone etiquette. I can see where you're coming from, but I haven't experienced it. I'm real quick with the hide user from channel button. I fucking love it. Dude, it feels like, you know what it feels like? It feels like being a shitty little kid on Xbox and be like, my dad is Bill Gates, I'm gonna get you fucking kicked, I'm gonna remove your Xbox Live account. Like, I can actually do that to people. I just feel like you're no longer a part of this. Like, I just remove you, I'm God, you disappear. I'm very quick with that button. I don't give a shit.
I'm usually, I mean, what is it? If someone says something that's just like hateful, where it's like someone else could read it and just feel like sad, even if they're wrong, I'll usually like take it down. If it's someone being like, if it's someone making a joke about me, like, you know, sometimes, like, what is it? I wore a hat for one of my videos and someone commented Michael Jackson if he played Valorant. And I thought that was funny as fuck. I pinned that comment. That was great. Because it's like, if it's just me, or it's like, that was contextual to how I looked at the joke, right? So it's like, even though you're making a fat joke, that was about me, right? But if you comment like, oh, what is it with all these fat fucking pieces of lard in this country? Then it's like, okay, someone else could, like, that's just hate at the world, not a diss at me. That's just like, you hate the whole identity of being a large person.
Have you thought about this in the past? Or are you making this up right now? As you
I wrote it down initially as like, I feel as though a comedian, as a comedian, it is easier.
No, I mean what you just said.
What I just said, I've thought about before. This is the first time I'm putting into words.
You know, you've actually mentioned to me before that you have, what's it called? You were talking about not ethics. You were talking about, like, remember we were talking in the car when you were driving home from work, and I was really close to my house too. Yeah. And you said something about like you asked me what my not morals
like
were. Yeah, coat of arms. That's the second time now that you've mentioned a scenario where you specifically have like you find the line in the sand and that's how you make your decisions, either left or right. Whereas I'm much more of just, I go with my gut, whatever my gut's telling me. So in that scenario, I don't like think about it that way.
To me, to be completely honest, I think that it is, if you're trying to evaluate the goodness of something or like the morality of, or maybe you're not trying to evaluate the morality of something as part of it, but to me, if you're trying to, to me, a lot of my art is like the art is the message I'm sending out into the world. So I try to tailor the message I'm sending out, and a lot of it is like, is how and when to respond to people, and like what is a joke and what is just like your own personal bias. So I guess I think a lot about that, because I think as a comedian you have a lot of power to like tweak the narrative, and you have a lot of power to talk about things from different angles. So a lot of the time I'll be like, oh, people's like, very few people have a problem when you refer to like an Andrew Tate figure as like a scammer. If you call this person a scammer, it's much easier of a political message to market than this person is like the worst person in the world, a horrible sexist, even though that's also a message you'll find a lot of agreement on. So I guess it's just things like that, at getting to what's the point of things to a lot of people, or like distilling things down to like, trying to distill the right message out of things.
You're also
Or an
more of
accurate
like
message
a
out of things.
I don't know what this says about the difference between you and I, but you're also much more of like a rule guy isn't the right word, but you're a very structured person in the way that you go about things. Like you were talking about having like pre-show meetings and stuff like that, and that's just the stuff that doesn't come onto my radar at all. So I'm collecting all these thoughts right now of like you have a coat of arms where you decide, okay, this is the way to approach X, Y, and Z based off of this specific situation being moral or immoral. Or like you go about something creatively and you have like an idea of, okay, I need to do X, Y, and Z to tackle this kind of creative endeavor. Whereas I'm much more like, I don't even know what word to put to it, but fly by night, I guess, which isn't, I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just an observation I'm making about the way you're describing that right now.
I mean, part of me feels like maybe I don't know if it's like what I studied in college, or I feel like the way I think about
Low
things
blow, man.
is in this sort
You're like college classes and we're like rooftops.
School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah, all right.
But like maybe it's like the methodology by which I think of things, because I feel like I'm kind of like a scientific person by nature.
You were going to get a chemistry degree for a while.
I thought about it for a long
Would
time.
have served you way better.
Yeah, job
You
wise.
could be a chemist right now, bro. You could be a fuck. Can you imagine if you were a scientist right now,
I
dude?
don't feel removed.
You in a
from
fucking
the
lab coat, bro.
opportunity
Yeah, you
would
with like little beakers and shit. Like,
it sounds very cool. I do fantasize a lot of the time about having that like respectable profession, that like, you know, like that shopping in the nice parts of town instead of working at them. You know, I get fantasies about that sometime, but in the end, it's just like I could go back to school.
be
in 10
so
years.
cool if you were a scientist.
It would be fun to be,
It'd be
just
so
'cause it's
cool.
scientist.
You would just what do you do for a living? Oh,
Science.
Science.
I do science.
I do science. Dude.
I advance humanity's understanding of stuff, you know? But I feel like I feel like I come at things with a methodology. So I'll think one of the themes that comes up across every single political science class is that stuff is about money. Is that like money is a really good explanation for things. So people will, like a lot of racist people will point, you know, like the levels of like maybe like education that you might see in like certain communities. And it's like, that's much more about money than it is about culture, as some people point out. So I guess you are trying so hard to hold in your laughter.
No, it's not disrespectful. It's not disrespectful, Julian. I think of a funny thought, and then I'm trying to work on. We all need to work on this, but I'm trying really hard to work on not interrupting people. You got to just let me smirk. It's fine. It's just part of the dynamic. Okay, you have to keep going down your path. I was gonna ask permission to go like completely adjacent to what you're saying. It's not completely adjacent. It's connected to what you're saying, but I want to let you finish your point. I apologize. I can't help. I have a hard time hiding my emotions.
Lily's kind of the same way. Yeah.
But I didn't interrupt you. I was very polite.
You were. I
was politely waiting.
That's what I would
for my
describe
turn
as
to talk.
very polite. But so I find that I like to find the root causes for things. So a lot of the time, I think it's rather than to go with my gut, I think it's better to have a coat of arms, because that way you're more likely to be very accurate and scientific and adhere to what you believe, and also do the right things for yourself, because presumably what you believe is also a bit self-interested in how you want people to view you.
You know, I guess I do that sometimes when I guess the okay, so you come up with a code of conduct and then you conduct your life that way. I think the only time I do something similar to that is if something bothers me internally or gives me puts me in some sense of turmoil and I feel like it shouldn't, or like if I feel negative about something that I should feel positive about, like then I'll dissect my emotion and figure out what exactly is going on.
I do the same thing.
But I only do that. I guess I do that on like an as need basis. I don't do that to like conduct my entire life. I think it's quite efficient though. I just look at something and I recognize how it makes me feel.
Yes, I feel
And
as
then I
though it's
move
quite
on.
efficient for every process in my life because you knew me growing up with me, you know me. I feel like I'm such a lazy fuck. If I can spend some time thinking about the efficiency of a process, I'll do myself a great service. I feel
You
like
do
if I
think about
just
stuff
jump,
like that a lot.
If I just jump into something, the likelihood of me giving up is strong. And I believe that's true for everyone to a case, but I just recognize it myself. If I really think about a methodology, not like that fake type of thinking that like, oh, I'm planning and once I finish my plan, the come up is going to be real. Like none of that bullshit. But like, I think that if you can actually spend some time thinking about a plan for yourself, you'll have a much happier, better time for yourself, like chunking things out like that.
Do you think you use that as an excuse to not do anything though? Like sometimes it's easier to plan things than it is to actually do it.
Sometimes I do. That's definitely an excuse of mine. But I feel like as I get better at actually doing things, it does only serve me well at the things I actually do as well.
So when you talked about having pre-show meetings, you mentioned that it would help you to like think about something for 24 hours in advance.
Yes.
And you used the words it would give me, and maybe I'm overanalyzing, but you used the words it would give me something to do.
The words I meant to use.
And in my head, I was like, you need something to do.
No, it was more about it would give me something. The words I meant to use were because I actually thought about that, which is why I said something to chew on. So I like I do a lot of standing for
Like
my
mulling
work.
things
My
over.
work isn't super thinky, intense work besides when I'm talking to someone. So to have something to chew on that whole day of, oh, Zach said that we're gonna do a segment about, whatever, TikTok food videos. We're not. But he said we're gonna do a segment about this. Like, what are some crazy things I've seen? What do I think about X and Y?
Okay.
So
Yeah, I mean, that comes down to me updating that document more, not fucking myself like this Facebook. I use Facebook Messenger like a personal assistant.
No, but it's also just for the little human intricacies too. It's purely just because like corporate structures choose to have a lot of redundant meetings or a lot of meetings that seem redundant to people who are just getting shit done. And I do feel like there is something that just comes with like touching base. Like, for example, today we talked for a lot longer than I expected, and I felt as though maybe you got more positive thought out of it than you were expecting to. And I think that there's just it's for the unknown is what I think. It's for the unknown. You're going to communicate something to me. I'm going to give an idea and I'm just going to see it from an outsider's perspective. Or you're going to communicate something to me and I'm going to be like, that's a great segment. I've actually been writing something that goes perfectly with that. So I'll slide it in. It's for the little unknowns. Because I agree, all the knowns we can put on the document. But the unknowns, it's nice to have a 10-minute meeting for.
Okay. I mean,
which I know you weren't disagreeing with. That's just how I think about things.
No, yeah. I mean, if it's meaningful to you, then obviously I'll do it. I'm trying to be better about not being a dictator about things. I heard you unmute.
I heard a click.
This is kind of fun, actually. Like I'll hear Savannah's toe just go click, and that Savannah's about to pop off with some shit. This is very fun. Scott, go ahead. Or did you just mute? No, you didn't.
No, I unmuted.
Man, we've been talking for so long, he's got a frog in his throat. You have to
That's
clear
called
your
an
voice
Adam's
again.
apple, you fat fuck. No, I'm kidding.
It reminds me of the 6 Ps. Do you remember the 6 Ps?
Scott, you're 40. I'm talking shit. No, I have no idea what the 6 Ps are.
Prudent
Oh, dude, my
planning
fat ass thought like the food.
prevents piss poor performance. That's all it is. It's just doing some prudent planning.
Oh.
Is what he's talking about. At least that's what I'm picking up. What you're putting down.
Say the
Prudent planning
I was also thinking. I was like,
prevents
butter.
piss poor performances. So to make it
Proper planning prevents piss poor performance.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I agree with that. I mean, that's
I'm just saying that's just what that's just
I
what
think about
he's
things
saying.
to encourage myself. I think about like how Bill Gates will hire a lazy man to do a job because a lazy man will find the more efficient way to do things. And I do occasionally believe that about our dynamics. Like I feel like you're very quick to bang your head against a wall over and over again to solve a problem. And I'm very quick to say, I hate banging my head against a wall. Let's do something else. And both of those things serve us differently.
Trying to think of an example.
So you
I guess describe
banging your head against
a wall.
You like, or I don't want to say like, you are as a rational person choosing to do this over other pathways choose to do a bunch of audio setup, and I don't choose to care about the quality of my, like, so sometimes my phone audio will go a little out when I go back and forth from the YouTube video recorder and the YouTube video editor. And my fix to that is sometimes the audio is a little quieter. I haven't Googled any technical things. I found out that if I just go, the microphone starts registering again. So at the beginning of every clip, I'll just go, and then I'll start talking, because it's a super duper easy fix, and it lets me make like 95% the exact same quality of content that if I had full control over how my audio is being recorded. And you would like to choose to address that 5%, or you in effect choose to address that 5%. And I think that reflects differently on both of our content. Like, I think I end up releasing more failures than you do, but at the same time, I'm quicker to get to certain successes at points.
I think you're comparing apples to oranges. I mean, it's one of those things where, like, if you're running a food truck and you buy cups that are 2 cents more, it's not that big of a deal. But if you're running, I'm not talking myself up, but like if you were running something like Domino's, you want to try to save every single penny. And so, like, in a scenario like this, where we're trying to sell someone on the idea of listening to this for fucking an hour, having that audio problem fixed is a huge deal. Whereas you're trying to sell someone on 60 seconds or 30 seconds of their time. And so there are certainly times when I cut corners and recognize that there isn't like an inherent value in having something set up to be as efficient as possible, because it's just not worth the work. It's that in this environment where there's 5 people in this room, I'm asking time of Megan, I'm asking time of Savannah, I'm asking time of Scott. Both of us are. The little things matter a lot more in an environment like this. Like there's examples like fucking that cord that's coming down. There's an HDMI cord that was running from the switcher to this wide shot camera that just took a shit. And I had the HDMI cord, it's all like bundled up inside of a spider web going down that thing. I had it running all the way up to the camera. I didn't want to deal with like untying everything and tying the new cord in there. So I just cut the HDMI cord right there. There's like a cut cord inside that fucking thing of webbing, because I was like, dude, I can't fucking be bothered. There's a few cords up there that are dead that Scott, it makes me think of like old HVAC units when like you like do a repair and just leave the rest of the shit in there because it's like not worth the time.
Oh man, are we making it onto HVAC talk?
No, not.
Come on, HVAC talk. Let's do it.
He just makes me think of little things like that.
Talk like TOK, not TALK. Like, have you heard of like book talk or anything talk to represent the community on? Never mind.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so HVAC talk.
I understood where you're going with it. But
you just didn't laugh though. So.
Oh, it wasn't funny, Julian.
That was like a Drake and Josh episode. Is what that really brought out my inner Drake and Josh. You can be Drake. I'm okay with that now. You can be Drake Bell.
Drake's the one that like.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Drake, you don't want to be Drake. Maybe in the show Drake was cool. Real life, you don't want to be fucking Drake.
Jake was a pedophile and Josh has defended one. So neither one of those are very good people.
Yeah, no, you know what? Yeah, let's be two other
unless
guys.
They want to collaborate. No, I'm kidding.
Go on, Drake and Josh.
Jeffrey Epstein, never heard of him. No,
come on.
Never heard of the guy. But there are lots of places where I find a quick solution. Like, I've had the equipment. We have to switch what is feeding into the hard drive every single time that we film. And I bought a button. Like, I have a button that rather than having to plug and unplug things, it switches what is feeding that television right there. So I can press a button. It goes to my desktop. I press a button. It goes to the switcher. And it's all good. I have one of those for the hard drive that I just haven't set up because it's not worth all the effort to go and do it. So I definitely do stuff like that. It's just with little things like having the audio smooth, having Scott shit all set up all nice. I got Scott a bigger table just because I wanted him to be more comfortable. I feel like I'm asking a lot of different people, and so I try to resolve those things because I want them to be happy, I want them to be comfortable, and I want people to be more enticed to give me more than 30 seconds of their time.
I completely agree with this understanding. I would say that my understanding that runs counter to it is a business has to produce a profit. Obviously, you just sink a good amount into a business to have it. Fucking right, man.
This is for fun. The money, the wealth that I get from this.
That's exactly what I would say.
Just joy.
At my most critical.
When it's going good, when it's going poorly, like 15 minutes ago, I want to shoot myself in the
At my most critical, I would say sometimes this feels like a hobby. Which is not
hobby. What are you talking about?
Well, as opposed to if you were treating it like a businessman, you would say as though you would treat becoming like financially independent from other sources as being like a priority, which I'm not saying always works out for the best, but does, what is it? Sometimes I feel like that type of thinking.
For an anti-capitalist, you're really focused on.
I think about this stuff because for someone else to give you money for something, you have to be conscious of how you spend that money on things.
For someone else to give you money, you have to be conscious.
The epoch of creative freedom is for someone else to give you money.
So why the fuck is there a can of Lysol on the table?
I've been waiting for you to notice.
Why is that there? Julian,
know.
throw it that way. Throw it that way, Julian.
In the shot this whole time. I thought you left it there on purpose.
No, Julian, give it to me. Give it to me.
She's just zooming in on the word kills.
Julian, give it to me. Thank you. There we go. Okay. My bad. Oh, yeah. You know what, Megan?
Straight up conked her, and it was hilarious.
3 points for Gryffindor. Yeah, just for that, Megan, I'm going to talk shit about Harry Potter. So we've been reading Harry Potter, and there's a constant theme of Ron Weasley's dad. What's his name?
Mr. Weasley.
He has a name. Arthur Weasley being obsessed with like how Muggle things work, and he was like asking Hermione's parents about how bus stops work, and like it's a huge plot hole. Not that it really matters. It matters to me because stupid little shit gets to me. But like they have a whole process of every year they go to like a train stop and hop on a train and go to Harry Potter. And then he's like, how does a bus stop work? It's like, motherfucker, maybe it works exactly like a train stop does. Maybe you wait at the bus stop and then a bus comes and then you get on the bus.
Oh, yeah, it's one of those
How
things.
does a bus stop work?
In the third one, there actually is a wizard bus too. So
And there's a wizard bus. They pick him up from a bus stop.
You don't know how a bus stop works, bro? This is why Percy fucking hates his dad,
I'm
dude.
sorry, Savannah, because he does something in
Stupid
favor of
shit
J.K.
like
Rowling
that. Go
now,
for it.
so.
Okay, but don't you think
What?
maybe it would be a different kind of bus stop? Like, think about it. The bus stop that you wait for school, the school bus, is completely different than a bus stop for the city bus.
Yep. No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
What's different about it? There's not a sign?
The city bus has a full-on schedule.
So does a school bus.
No, the school bus, there's one bus, you get on that bus. You know, it's like a big carpool.
That's the one, and there's no, like, you walk up to your school bus stop and there's no, like, big billboard that's like, Granite Falls School District going to this school.
You trust the
At
bus
this
that you get
time.
on.
You just have to.
There's one bus, and even if it is a different bus, you're like, that one must be mine because it's here. You have a lot of trust for the bus that shows up to pick up your child.
You do.
From that
the
stop.
wizard bus also, all you have to do is stick your wand out. So maybe he just doesn't understand like the purpose of the stop because it'll just come right to you.
Coming to the guy who got $500 in a fine for sticking his wand out on the bus.
And then the city bus, you have to pull the string to let them know that you need to get off the bus.
Okay.
Where with the school bus, you know which one's your stop.
I guess maybe there are more like specifics you could like ask about the way the bus works, but just specifically in the book he mentioned the bus stop, like, and he was like, oh, like he was so stoked he took these two muggles to like a bar to hang out to ask about bus stops. Like it was like he had like a 30-minute conversation about the process of waiting at a bus stop, and it just seems
Okay,
pointless.
yeah, that's ridiculous.
It was goofy as shit. And they didn't specifically say that, but he was like, oh, I got to go get a drink with Mr. Granger and ask him about bus stops or something like that.
The thing that's more fucked up to, well, when I think about like the little like plot holes in Harry Potter, I think like there are poorer wizards and richer wizards, but they have this technology that allows you just to make the inside of a tent be however large and luxurious you want it to, and there's still like all of this classism there. And is it like I think about that?
Yeah, I mean there has to be something in the wizarding world that like there has to be something that gives money value. Like there's got to be like. I mean, maybe it's a thing where like only really powerful wizards can use certain, like only a super powerful wizard can do that spell that can like make a room super, super big so they can charge a bunch of gold to like do it or something like that. but there is a lot of questions in Harry Potter in my brain in regards to just like how you keep order of like anything. Because okay, you have house elves that are basically little slave servants. How do you not like what? Oh. How does every wizard not have either like I think at one point in the book the Weasley mother has like spells doing the dishes and shit around their house, and yet their house is like just a complete piece of shit. And so how do you either not, if you can't afford, or if house elves are like some rare commodity, which I can totally get because the Malfoys have one, and I presume a lot of other poor families don't have one. But even if you don't need, like, either you have a house elf that does stuff or you just have a spell do it. And so, like, what's the point of anything? Why does money have any value inside of this world? Why can't you just, and then you have everything that you possibly need? There's a lot of, like, little things like that. And I recognize that I give you, like, a 30-minute TED Talk about why fucking Harry Potter bothers me. And I recognize that, like, it's a book for 10-year-olds. But there's a lot of things that they leave out in the movies that I think should be left out of the books. Like, I've already talked about it, but I was pissed off in the first book that you spend, like, you get to Hogwarts like 3/4 of the way through the first book. Like, you have to spend 150 pages on Privet Drive with the Dursleys. It's fucking ridiculous. There's so many, like, Harry Potter.
Right, yeah, because it's not just like that. Like, there's like a whole thing where they keep getting the letters, and then Vernon Dursley's like, "Fuck it, we're moving."
But in the book, in the movie, that happens in like 15 minutes. In the book, dude,
Yeah,
that's like
exactly.
100 pages in.
Yeah.
It's so far into the book. It's ridiculous. And then like, and granted, maybe this is what makes it such a good movie, but I feel like 60% of the book is like world building. Like, you read 70% of just kids hanging out at a wizarding school, and then, oh, the chamber of, like, someone's cat died, Filch's cat dies, and then the book actually starts.
What book
She's
are you
not
on?
dead.
Okay, well, she's
petrified.
Okay, whatever. Something happens. The Chamber of Secrets finally opens. And like with the Sorcerer's Stone, they only actually, like, shit starts to go down in like the very, very end of the book. And so you spend like 80 to 70% of the time reading just kids hanging out at a like K through 12 school. And it's like, what am I doing with my life?
It's supposed to be like a mystery, but you already know the story.
The mystery, but Megan, they don't even introduce the mystery until you're like almost done with the book. It's not like
it's supposed. They think
ruined
it's Snape, and they're like following Snape around. And they think it's Snape.
Yeah, but when does that
but it's
happen?
That's what I was going to ask. What book are you on right now?
We're on the
Second
second book.
one.
So I was
haven't even
going to
gotten
say,
to the
I think it
spiders.
changes after like the fifth one onward. I think it's much more action forward. I mean, the third one onward, the first two are really, really fucking exposition heavy. Because you don't even like. I got out of when you get to Hogwarts, how much time is spent just explaining Quidditch too, you know? Because
Dude, so much of it is explaining Quidditch. She goes incredibly, so much time.
Like in the Chamber of Secrets, there's so much time spent explaining like the social politics and how Harry's still doing, and like there's so much time on the politics of it all. And in the third one, there's so much time on Harry's familial relations, and the fourth time there's so much time on the actual tournament that they're doing. And then I feel like
that sounds
5,
fun.
6,
I can't wait to
7,
get there.
I feel like they get into more like Voldemort versus the generation before and how Harry plays into that.
Here's another thing that upsets me about the Weasley's dad. I fucking hate this guy. They're so prideful. They open up their bank account and they have a single
Megan,
gold
I saw
coin.
that slide. Arthur Weasley is totally Megan's type.
He's the worst character in the entire. I fucking hate Arthur Weasley.
So that means you, in many ways, are like an Arthur Weasley type, Zach.
If I was a struggling father of 30 or however many of these fucking kids these redheads have, and I'm basically like orphaning a little like Bill Gates' kid after Bill Gates died. Like when Harry Potter goes into his bank or whatever with fucking Hagrid, there's just a mountain of gold coins. Give the Weasleys 5. And I know he would. And Megan always says that they're like too prideful. How prideful do you have to be to not give you like this?
That's not a real depiction of like life, you know, where it's like, no, seriously, I'm over all the time. I want you to be happy.
Let me pay for my portion of the food at least. Or like okay, they lost their car, bro. I'll buy you a Mercedes that can fly. You know, like who gives a fuck? Harry Potter has so much money, and they're just too prideful to take any of it, even if it makes complete. Like do you really think that Harry's parents wouldn't want? That's the other thing. They treat Harry like his parents weren't like their old war buddies. Like you ever see like old dudes down at like the VA like hanging out to each other? They were all like in a photo of 20 people that were in Dumbledore's army, and they like fought the Dark
Order
Lord.
of the Phoenix.
They were all in the. They were in like
and
a
they
secret
meet him
society.
And they're like, oh, celebrity wizarding kid Harry Potter.
It'd be like if I met your kid 30 years after we fought in World War III and you died.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like. You're Julian. Oh no, I guess that
you're
would.
Frederick Thompson.
Yeah, you're Frederick Thompson, famous fucking astrophysicist. I'd be like, I loved your father. You know, we died. He died in my. You know what I mean? I want you to know I would
Molly
have.
and
Him and his wife in a last stand just to protect you.
What was that?
Molly and Arthur are a lot older than Lily and James. I
In
don't
the
think
book?
that they were that close.
But there were like 20 people in that photo.
yeah, they were in the Order of the Phoenix, but they weren't like BFFs.
They're in,
Let's
like,
go
a
drink
gang,
wine
though.
at each other's houses.
You're in a gang
Yeah,
against
but-
the Adolf Hitler of the wizarding world. You're not gonna
Not
like see the
like-
person's kid and fucking dab him up.
Okay, but they didn't know Neville's parents that well. They weren't like close. They just were a part of the same branch of the military, basically.
But there's 20 people. Are there more people in the books? Is it like a really big photo? Because in the movie, they show like a photo and it's like all the homies. It's like Neville's parents, Harry's parents, the Weasley's parents, Hagrid, and that
I don't think
black
there's
ball
more,
dude. I
no.
can't remember
There's
his name.
like- a pretty
No
small
camaraderie. You know, now
order.
as you're pointing out this, yeah, and they're like Neville. They're like, oh yeah, let's get him. Let's let him get like ruthlessly bullied for like 3+ years at least before we even start to give a fuck about this guy. You know, which I get. They maybe hadn't like thought. You know.
Well, in the book, I don't think the kids. I don't think
I'm going to refer to-
they don't know that their parents knew each other. But the Weasleys, the parents know that the parents knew each other. But the kids don't know that Neville's parents were badasses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Neville knows.
Neville does.
Yeah, he visits his parents in the ward. He knows what happened.
That's something
What do you mean, the
totally
word?
forgotten
Well,
about.
we're
'cause they
not
don't
going to
ta-
get to, I don't think it's in the movie, so I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Okay. Never
it's
mind.
not. What is in the movies
Oh, do
is
they,
when
like,
Neville's.
die?
What is in the movies is when Neville's especially upset. You know, when Professor. Well, when Professor
Flitwick. Oh, I don't remember his name.
Mad Eye Moody.
Mad-Eye Moody.
When Mad Eye Moody's like, oh, he's not actually Mad Eye Moody. He's like torturing that spider.
You're good.
And when Barney Crouch is like torturing that spider, and he's like Crucio, and Neville's like, I don't like this. Like that. That's because of his parents.
Oh.
Do you know? Did they say that in movies, Megan? Do they say how
I
Neville's
think
parents
so.
died?
Yeah,
it was
yeah, they do.
Bellatrix, right?
Yeah.
do, yeah.
Okay, they do. They do. Yeah. So it's
But
like,
I think Bellatrix talks shit.
No,
in that
she-
and
show.
Bellatrix
she's the
does
one-
talk shit as well.
She's the one that tortured them to madness.
But she also, you are right. She says something of this. She says something to Neville about this as she has him captured at some point.
She's so hot.
I was thinking that. I wasn't gonna say it. Is there something weird, Julie?
Fucking curls.
Do
bro.
you feel?
Yeah.
Not against her
I'm
specifically.
probably gonna agree, but yeah.
Do you have a weird attraction? I feel this is what like women feel like when they like become pen pals with some like psycho inside a jail. Do you see a woman that's like fucking like
Yes.
and you like some hot woman that just fucks people up and there's just something about it
Definitely.
that draw. Are you fucking with me or no?
I'm not
You
fucking
feeling
with
me?
you at all.
There's
I'm
something
feeling
about
you.
Bellatrix being a psycho badass wizard, and when I say badass, I just mean powerful. That like makes her more attractive.
When she's on top of Hermione, bro.
I don't remember that.
Wet dreams.
Was Hermione 18?
Yeah.
Yeah. She
Hey,
wasn't.
careful, Megan. Careful.
This was in the last
Careful.
book. This was Deathly Hallows Part
That's
1.
18. That's
Deathly
18.
Hallows Part
That's
1.
18.
She never
That
graduated
counts.
school.
That counts, boys. That counts.
She was.
Wait, was that Megan?
They skipped their last year of school.
Yeah, you still age. Hey, time don't care what grade you're in, dude. I mean, okay, that sounds weird. I'm gonna edit that
Yeah, you know
out.
what?
Have you guys watched the new
Yeah,
Mean
no,
Girls
Zach,
the
I'm just-
musical?
What?
Have you watched the Mean Girls the musical, Julian?
I haven't.
Why would I?
Oh,
I have.
it was so sexual, and it's set in high school, and it's just crazy to me. I just thought if you guys had seen it, never
The
mind.
girl is
let's talk
definitely
about
not
this.
in high school. She looks like she's in her late 20s.
Well, now.
No, like the girl that plays
In the new ones.
the girl that plays in the new Mean Girls musical.
I'm gonna
She looks
remember
like
time.
she's
Don't care
27
what
or
grade you're in.
something.
I didn't hear what you said at the end, Savannah.
She looks like she's 27.
Okay. Well, maybe
And
that's
she's
a
playing-
good thing.
No, she's playing a high schooler.
Like in Greece.
But Megan said it was sexual, so maybe it's good that she looks like 30.
I mean, yeah, but it's very sexual.
You've said that.
She's
Gearing
No,
representing
you're bringing up sex a lot,
youth.
Savannah. Trouble in Paradise? Trouble in Paradise?
No.
It's really sexual. She looks like she's about my age. Doesn't make sense to me.
I said it one time, just the word sexual. Okay.
That is like the fourth time she said that. Dude, Julian, this is your time. Attack. I'm defending you.
I appreciate. I see you
You're a
defending me, and
Attack.
I'm waiting. I like to wait. Don't sick
Wait
me
for
on-
what? This is
you
the
can't
moment.
Sick me on.
Yeah, Megan, I don't know
people
when
like
we're
that.
gonna actually start. Let's just go for like 10 more minutes. You're all good. Well, we did a bunch of bullshit at the beginning, so I'm gonna like cut that out and then put something silly in.
Why'd you point at me when you said that?
We did a bunch of
Because I'm right-handed. Because I feel insecure around you, Scott. No, I'm kidding.
But no, Savannah, you do see what I mean now, where you can't be like, no, we're fucking a ton, right? Like, there's no great
she
defense.
did the right thing. She just went, ha, ha, Zach, you're dumb, and then
It
shut
was
up.
my joke first.
Hers was funnier than mine. She did get you pretty
She
good.
did, yeah. You know what? It was, yeah. It was funny because it was true. Actually, it's funny because it's true.
Not from what I've heard. No comment. Is there anything else that bothers me about Harry Potter? I've talked about how I hate how Hagrid talks. I don't think I've done that actually, no. I was going to do like a PowerPoint for this, but whatever. The way she types out Hagrid is really obnoxious as well. She types it as if a Scottish person is speaking, and it's like I have to relearn English as I'm sounding out the words. It actually got to the point where I would read,
Hagrid.
and then whenever Hagrid comes in, I'd hand the book to Megan, and I'd make her read the part because I just couldn't. Like, I have a hard enough time reading now, having to like read. It's like reading a text message, actually. It's like a really good way of putting it. Like the weird abbreviations, like she made a bunch of contractions that didn't need to be contractions. And it makes sense, but like everyone else also had an accent. You know
love
what I mean?
how, like, even by book 4, she's like, we still gotta let people know this guy is stupid as shit.
That's
you know?
the other
This
thing.
guy is Scottish and he's dumb as fuck, and we're gonna let you know every single sentence.
They do make him a bit of a simpleton, but they also, I don't know why she did this, but like I think Megan explained it to me, but they like when she's writing the second book, she'd mention something like she'd say Hagrid and then she'd pretend like you didn't read the first book and she'd be like, "Oh, it's Hagrid, the groundskeeper at Hogwarts." It's like, do you think I don't know who Hagrid is at this point? Or like, who's the Quidditch guy? She'd say someone's name. Oliver Wood, the captain of the Quidditch team. Like she had to reintroduce every character like someone was just gonna pick up the second book in a series.
Yeah, because that happens.
No one ever does that.
I've done that.
Why?
When I was a kid. It's a kid's book.
You started on the second book?
I mean, not for
No, I can
For
see that.
what but you've
I
done
can see
why
that
would
from
why
an
would you do
artistic
that?
perspective.
From an artistic
Have you
that
ever,
ruins it.
No,
did you
no,
ever read like the Treehouse Children or whatever the fuck that was?
Yeah, the Magic Tree.
Yeah,
Magical
you don't have
Treehouse.
to read that
Or
shit
the
in order.
Merlin's Magic editions of the Magic Treehouse. Yes,
Or
I
like
remember.
Junie B. Jones. You don't.
Yeah.
There's a number on the book, but you can just pick up number 16 and just start reading it. Or like, what's that one where the Animorphs? Did you guys ever read that
Animorphs,
shit?
bro. No, I never read it.
love those books.
But can you think of another? I've never seen that before. We're in a book they write the book as if no one has read any of the other
When
books.
I
You
say
just don't read
artistically,
books, Zach.
I've read enough books to recognize that that's weird.
when I say artistically, I mean you as a comedian, I'm sure to understand that you need the audience needs to know what you're talking about for your joke to land.
That's different than a book, dog.
So I don't
It's a
know how
book.
different it is because I haven't written a book. I have done stand up, and I do know that in my stand up, the audience needs to know what I'm talking about. I do agree. It's funny when you
no one
point
agree with
that.
me?
No, Zach. I feel like you are too black and white about things. I agree with you pointing out the foibles in that. Your pointing out the foibles makes me think, I wonder if she does this to make her book more sellable. So that way, when someone does just pick up the second one, they can enjoy it fully and then go back to the first one. Like
Takes me out of it. It takes me out of the story.
Those are all fair critiques. I'm just thinking about the marketing that goes into
the profitability, you fucking communist.
I just read The Hunger Games, and she does the same thing. It's just less
She
subtle.
does?
It's less subtle because it's a kid's book.
All three of the Hunger. Are you talking about? She didn't do it in the 3 originals. I didn't read the Snow one, but she didn't do it in the 3.
I like the idea that she's like, it's super clunky. That it's like PETA, the guy from the first book, painted himself like a fucking rock. I don't know.
Yeah, but it would be like PETA, and then Katniss would have like
Bread,
some
not the
thoughts
bread.
about how PETA was the boy with the bread, and then go into the story about the bread again.
I don't
And,
remember that at all.
Okay, well,
I read the book like 10
Because he
years ago.
gave her bread, right? She was like hungry, and he gave her bread. Fucking simp.
yeah, he's been in love with
You give a bitch bread once, and she's coming back for more, dog.
Can you imagine if they wrote the Bible like that? Jesus, our Lord and Savior.
And they said, "Oh, Jesus (parentheses) sacrificed himself for our sins."
See page 12.
Jesus asterisk. Yeah.
So this is kind of a wind back. I didn't want to interrupt you, but then you commented on my smirk. I was thinking. I actually it was the day I was going to Costco and I saw a dude driving a Bentley, or I saw someone driving a Bentley. Ladies can buy Bentleys too. I saw someone driving a Bentley, and I was thinking about how much money that car is.
Yeah.
Like a Bentley is hundreds of thousands of dollars. In my head, I was like, you can buy a new Mercedes for like $80,000, and then you could hire someone for like multiple years of work. Like you could have 2 employees and a Mercedes or a Bentley.
Yeah.
Like you can it gets to the point where you're buying luxury items that you're like, okay, I could buy that, or I could just have someone do whatever I want 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Does anyone think like that? Like you ever look at the cost of something and go, I could own a dude for 12 months.
Zach.
Yeah.
You can't own people anymore.
Well, that's in that. I'd say that capitalism gets pretty fucking close, but that's like political. But no one thinks like that.
I think it's a flex at that point. Like when you have that much money, like it doesn't matter.
You don't think it'd be so much fun to hang out? Like,
people that own a Bentley probably flex with a couple.
What I wonder,
couple of those two.
They probably have a wide portfolio.
A flex. So I know this is gonna sound silly. A flex for who, right? Because it's like at the end of the day.
For me, I saw it and was like,
So
fucking hell,
right?
I don't want to crash into
It's
that.
a flex for the public, but I guess I just think like, who do you really care about in your day-to-day interaction? I guess for me personally, it's like
people in this
I
room.
couldn't buy any expensive car and have it change people's opinion of me.
Well, yeah, that's because you're a piece of shit. No, I'm kidding.
No, this is because I don't have to buy the car. But like, in general,
You're fine. Keep going.
but like, I feel as though it's like at the and maybe this is like, the stupid, like mature answer, but I feel like as though anyone whose opinion I would want changed of me, their opinion would not be changed by a flashy car. And I guess I just wonder, maybe it sends me off in a whole other direction where I'm thinking about like the guys who complain like, oh, all women want is money, but then all they ever do is try to like flex with how much money they have. So of course the only person they're going to attract is someone who's attracted to money. Things like that. I think about like, who are you trying to impress? Like, okay, you don't want a woman who's just like, attracted to money. Like, why are you trying to flex with that then? And I just think in general, like what is the root cause of this Bentley? Unless you just really like cars and it's that much more comfortable than like a Volvo or a Tesla or whatever the fuck. But like, who are you really trying to impress with that?
Yeah, Scott, who are you trying to flex on?
I don't have
Like,
a
is it
nice. I don't have a
just
nice car.
You have a nicer car than I do.
My
You
Subaru.
do you get a Subaru hatchback, bro?
I'm driving my
I want a
buddy's
Subaru
Rivian
hatchback
right
so
now,
bad.
and that's a nice car.
What's a Rivian?
It's an electric truck, right?
Yeah, it's like an electric SUV. That thing is super nice.
That's pretty. No, because you drove that here.
Yeah.
Because I
And-
saw your key fob, and I was like, "Ooh, you fancy bitch!"
Yeah,
Just
well-
as you were walking outside.
See,
I'll tell you what,
you're
though.
the type of person that you were saying you don't want to change anyone's
I did
opinions of.
notice.
You are that to Scott right now. You're like, damn,
Dude,
Scott's
people look
killing
at you,
it, bro.
Hey, people look at you different though. They really do out on the street.
You know what's funny? I'd look at you and be like, what the fuck is, like, I wouldn't even know what to think of it. It's so, like, anytime I see a word, like, symbol like that, sometimes I'll Google it and I'll just assume it's some European car that got, like, imported or something. I'm like, oh, neat.
Zach, I like that thought. It originally made me think like when one of your best friends becomes like a dad or something, like you're looking at it like, how the fuck did he get into that fucking car? Or, you know, like, how did he achieve so much? And it's like the same thing as like, how's this guy going to take care of a kid? Just how did he structure it all?
Well, I don't get what you're talking about.
Just because I guess I see your reaction to, oh, if Scott were driving a Bentley, I'd be like, dude, what? Well, I guess your reaction, you're saying what? Like, what is that?
Yeah,
what
I know what a Bentley is. I don't know what a Riviera is.
I thought you were saying what? Like, what? Scott's in that car? That doesn't make sense to my brain.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense to my brain either.
Well, you're watching a dude's dog. How does that not make sense? That makes perfect sense. You're watching a rich dude's dog, dude. I'm going to watch your poodle and drive your Riviera and have people look at me. But to your point about flexing, he said the thing about flexing, and I don't know whether or not people do that specifically just for flexing, but I could totally see like when you have a vision of the things that you want, it might not necessarily be about getting something and then being flashy and like look at me, yada yada yada. But I can relate to that with this set where like I'm getting to the point where I have like almost all the technology that my heart desires. And it's like seeing a visualization of all your hard work. Mm-hmm. And so in that scenario, if you buy yourself a Bentley, it might not necessarily be to show off to other people. It could be like it's why like women like to put on makeup and like they walk around the house. You know what I mean? You do it for yourself.
No, well, I respect the idea of like, that's what I always think. Like I was saying to one of my friends, she was like, oh, I just hate every Tesla driver. Like, why would you ever need to spend that much money on a car?
You can get one for $40,000.
And I was like,
which is a lot of money, but as far as new cars go.
It's moreover, it's like the part of like, you don't need to spend that much on anything besides a house. Like, it's all want, so why not let someone have their wants if it isn't affecting you? I mean, yes, you could. I take the point about maybe like the predominance of Tesla drivers in like some areas represents like a grossness about capitalism. So I definitely take that point. But at the end of the day, it was concentrated to an individual hatred directed at the driver in front of you. And that just doesn't make any sense.
Have you noticed Tesla drivers though? Oh my gosh, they piss me off. They either drive super slow or they drive like they own the damn road.
That's the AI, dude. You have a problem with the cloud.
No, the AI does the thing that you don't. So yeah, the reason that it's super slow is because my dad's car has it's called adaptive cruise control. It's the thing right below Tesla's full auto driving. So it will keep you in the same lane and it will brake, stop, and start. Does Rivian have that too? Yeah. So it's got like the full adaptive cruise control, and it sucks to drive behind. People will constantly pass you because your car only cares about maintaining a speed and maintaining a distance from the car in front of you.
But so that's something you can turn off.
You can totally turn it off. It's people choosing not to because it makes your commute easier because all you have to do is keep your hand on the steering wheel, and you don't have to. I mean, it is nice that you don't have to constantly press the brake in the stop and start traffic. It is a bit of a luxury in that sense. Yeah. But I think that's the reason that they're slow is because you're driving behind the software. I do think Zach's right about that.
Half of them drive slow. The other half drive like really fast, like they own the road.
And that's the non-software half.
That's the fun mode, dude. Just
why do they sound like aliens landing when they back up?
It's called electricity. Oh, the wah 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 wah. That?
Fucking hate that.
Electric cars, you can't hear an engine sound in them because it's all electric, so they have to make a sound for deaf people.
What? What'd you just say?
Deaf people.
Hold on.
Trouble in paradise.
Stop. Think about what you just said. They have to make a sound.
For who?
For deaf people.
Deaf people can't hear, honey.
Oh my God.
Talking about blind people?
Yes.
There you go.
Mine's on something else, I see. Makes sense.
That was a weird comment, Julian.
I was waiting for the time to throw it back.
Oh, okay. What, she's thinking about all this.
Don't stop, we go straight to the top. Don't stop, we go straight to the top. I am that dude. I am that dude. I am that dude. I am that dude. I am that. Don't stop, we go straight to the top. Don't stop, we go straight to the top. And we all going together.